Goodbye, my friend. I'm instead of coming, but you're still right here with me. It's not the end. The show is moving to the Friday nights on Fox.
Rip SmackDown Live. Rip it. Rip it good. R.I.P. SmackDown Live. You are technically no more because you are moving to Fox and you're being renamed WWE Friday Night SmackDown. It's been a good 3 and a bit years. Let me correct that. It's been a patchy 3.5 years. I'm Ollie Davis. This is Luke Owen. Welcome to the last ever SmackDown Live edition of the WrestleRamble. From next week, it'll be on Saturdays. We're going to attempt to do a live stream from a wrestling show of us reviewing it, and then it will be Chopper Pete and Dave.
Just Dave.
Just Dave, who's Pete's mate. Reviewing the show from there on in.
So this means technically this could be our last SmackDown review.
Could be, because we'll be doing AEW instead on Thursdays. And please, press the thumbs up button, leave a comment down below, and press subscribe because the wrestling world is changing. We've got AEW, NXT, SmackDown moving to Friday nights. Impact is now back a thing again. So, we've got loads of coverage. You want to hit subscribe, and then you'll know the new shows that we've got and when they go live first. And also, get in your super chats, because we're joined by WrestleTalk.com's Randy, Andy, Datsun.
Chop of the morning.
That is not yours.
What is mine?
I'm Randy.
Right.
Hello, I'm
Randy.
Hello, I'm Randy, Andy Datsun.
Okay, so SmackDown Live started in July 2016 with the brand split. The modern era.
It was when it jumped to USA because for the first time, it was a weekly live show. Previously, it'd always been a taped thing. They would tape it on a Tuesday and then air it on a Thursday or a Friday.
Yeah, and that meant it really did play second fiddle to Raw.
Oh, yeah.
And it always has done, let's be honest. Even when it moved to the USA Network as a weekly live thing.
Well, it had that 1 week, remember, where it did better than Raw in the ratings. And because the whole point of this was that Vince wanted Shane and Stephanie to be fighting against each other for rating supremacy. And then it basically just looked like, oh, Raw's always going to win, so we'll just drop that storyline. Then SmackDown won one of those weeks. They were like, oh, no, it's a storyline again. And then it never happened ever again. So they were like, yeah, we'll just quietly drop that again.
The lockbox. Remember that?
Yes.
Vince said, not the lockbox.
Not the lockbox.
What was in there? So, yeah, Shane McMahon was made the general...
He was the commissioner with Daniel Bryan as the GM. And it was Stephen McFoley on Raw.
And that spun out of the Undertaker match.
That's
at
right.
Hell in a Cell
Because
at WrestleMania.
Because Shane wanted control.
Yeah.
And so they booked this storyline where he had to beat the Undertaker at Hell in a Cell in order to get control, and then he lost, and Vince just gave him control anyway.
That is WWE Booking 101. But when it launched, for, a good 9 months there, SmackDown was a joy to watch while Raw was floundering.
Yeah.
And a lot of that can be attributed to former head NXT writer Ryan Ward. And he has seen this ship all the way through to, 2 weeks ago, where he has been completely demoted off of the SmackDown creative team. He hasn't been even moved to 205 Live.
Well, I mean, it's always a good idea to get rid of really talented writers.
Yeah, so the sort of team that managed SmackDown creatively for the last 3 years was Road Dogg, Ryan Ward, and I want to say Steve Guerreri. I'm probably not saying that right. But Road Dogg stepped down in April because he said again publicly in an interview this week that he just couldn't handle the stress. And backstage reports say it's because Vince is just tearing up the scripts before every show.
Changing things an hour beforehand.
Yeah. Guerreri was fired and let go in July. And then Ryan Ward, the last one, has sort of been bumped off now. And it's Ed Koskey from Raw is now taking control alongside Eric Bischoff.
And the reason for that is because Vince never had to rewrite Raw because he really liked the way that Ed Koskey was writing things, so he just moved him across to SmackDown, and Paul Heyman is now sort of running things over on Raw with his new team.
And that new team is going to see SmackDown Live become Friday Night SmackDown on Fox as of next Friday, October the 4th.
Man, do you remember all that fire Road Dogg movement when SmackDown went quite rubbish for a bit and people just had to blame it all on Road Dogg? Because you're right, SmackDown Live has had a patchy run. There's been times where it's had like a stretch of being great, and then it had a stretch time like last year where it was really, really bad, and then it's been really, really great again. And then I think the last few months it's been quite bland. It's not bad. It's just been quite bland. I feel like since they knew they were moving to Fox, they were like, nah, let's just not try anymore. Because we don't want to do all of our good storylines now. We can save those until we get to Fox.
And any storylines we do have, let's tell them out of order and not properly. I'm thinking,
on Raw.
Yeah, the Reigns Attacker mystery and the Owens Shane McMahon stuff.
Yeah.
Not really. Who cares about the WWE champion? It's only Kofi Kingston, one of the most over stars back in April. So, just a fun trip down memory lane. Any standout moments from SmackDown Live?
I mean, this is quite an easy one for me. It's Daniel Bryan stepping back into the ring, making that announcement that he was
special.
Cleared for in-ring wrestling, and then he did that attack angle with Owens and Zayn. And it, tears in the eyes. The early days of Talking Smack.
I was going to say, yeah, my hipster choice would have been Bryan and Miz on Talking Smack.
Yeah.
Spine-tingling stuff.
I think anything involving Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack was just absolutely just a treasure trove of amazing character building. And that's actually one of the reasons why SmackDown felt the better show at the times, because characters felt more fleshed out, because it was the wrestlers workshopping their characters in a live situation, unscripted, so they could feel what it was like to be that character, as opposed to being like, here are the words you're going to say, now go out and say them.
Yeah, it wasn't just Bryan, but Miz really fine-tuned his character.
The Usos.
The Usos, Carmella.
Yep.
So many wrestlers leveled up thanks to that experience.
Alexa Bliss
as well.
She had a tremendous run.
My low-key pick, Rhino and Heath Slater.
Oh, in very early days.
The first ever SmackDown Tag Champions. Becky Lynch becoming SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yeah.
The Dean Ambrose, James Ellsworth, AJ Styles stuff.
I was about to say, yeah. It
Viper in the Family.
That first run when AJ was being beaten by James Ellsworth. And then you had that. I mean, obviously, Ellsworth is, you shouldn't really be praising the man too much these days. But he did have that almost genius heel turn in terms of writing a character. Be like, I mean, I can beat AJ Styles. So, of course I'm going to turn on Dean Ambrose. I can beat AJ Styles, not realizing that it was all Dean Ambrose beating AJ for him. It's a wonderful move. Then he had that match with AJ. It was like, no, I'm just going to beat you now.
Yeah, it was the house AJ Styles built as
really
well.
It was, yeah.
Really good stuff. And wasn't that, I guess that was with John Cena. That excellent Royal Rumble match with AJ came off of that run in SmackDown. So it's come to an end, folks. Probably time to revamp SmackDown entirely. So how did WWE go off air? What was the final image of SmackDown on the USA Network? Quite fittingly, it was Becky Lynch.
Well, I was going to say, quite fittingly, it was a Raw angle featuring Raw stars over a Raw championship. Quite a fitting way to end the last ever SmackDown Live.
That's another way of spinning it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it was Becky Lynch. She was doing a kind of rushed promo at the end.
Well, I think they ran short on time quite clearly, because Owen said, I want a ladder match. They went, okay. And they were like, whoa, okay, we'll cut backstage quickly.
Yeah, SmackDown. I'm not going to miss that part of SmackDown.
Poorly run production.
Yeah, where they have definitely the end angle in the ring that's anticlimactic anyway, and then they throw to someone doing an interview in Gorilla, which is more anticlimactic.
I don't know why SmackDown has always struggled with its ending, because it either runs too early and then you have that weird sort of 5-minute bit where people are just celebrating for way longer than they're supposed to be, or it's like tonight where you've got the big cliffhanger line but you've decided you want to do something else, so you have to cut backstage to something really quickly that also has to be very rushed.
I think it's intentional. I think it's happened too often for it to be a mistake, I think.
I just think it's... Oh, okay. I mean, that's a really nice way to look at it. I just think it's appalling.
It's bad. Yeah. I'm just saying it's intentional, okay. and they're missing the mark.
It's intentionally bad.
Plus, they're not. They don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
Plus, they don't have Firefly Funhouse that they can just run on a loop. We've finished 3 minutes early. Play the Bray stuff. So it was Becky Lynch cutting the promo to Kayla Braxton on Sasha Banks. Really, nothing new was being said. And the Raw interview with Michael Cole was far superior. and then Sasha Banks just jumps her. And, last week we got this excellent beatdown angle with the Bludgeon Brothers, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, where even Todd Phillips got hammered around at ringside.
Wiped out.
Hammered.
Nice.
Being a
Yeah.
callback to the Bludgeons. But Sasha just scuffed her up a bit
Pushed her against the fence.
and pushed her against a fence. And then Becky was like, I'm dead.
It was such a brutal beatdown. It was broken up by one referee and a lad in a suit.
Yeah. So that was... it's nice that it ended on Becky because she's been such a huge part of SmackDown. And I know she's Raw now, but
I'm
she's
being
SmackDown
facetious.
to me.
Yeah, totally.
But it was lame.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very anticlimactic. And then the thing that came before that, which I guess is the better thing to end on, was this Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon angle that was the main event. Shane, all throughout the night, was seen backstage talking to 3 people in suits.
It was the lawyers from The Simpsons.
Yeah, right. Because
Mr. Simpson.
there was a $25 million wrongful dismissal lawsuit that Kevin Owens has brought.
already, yeah.
It's rubbish. This shouldn't be Kevin Owens' character, even if it's all a ruse just to get under Shane's skin. I still don't care. So Shane called Kevin Owens out in the ring with his lawyer friends. Owens walks through the crowd, and they go back and forth. Shane gives him 2 options. Either we can draw this out for years and years and years in legal costs.
CM Punk.
Or you drop the case, Kevin Owens, and I reinstate you right now. You get your job back, and I wipe that $100,000 fine.
And Owen says it was never about the money. Why are we so angry about the fine then if it was never about the money?
It's bad. It's bad stuff. But then he said, that quite awesomely, he went into something he can sink his teeth into, which is, I'm sick of seeing you in the wrestler's locker room where you don't belong.
Yeah.
You're not a wrestler. And it was a really good emotion, and it's stuff I, personally agree with. It just doesn't work with how Shane has been presented as a legit wrestler who genuinely goes toe-to-toe with people in the last couple of years.
He almost out-wrestled AJ Styles.
That's never been Shane's character. We've said this over and over again. He was always the opportunistic rich kid who get in heel jabs when the person's already down.
Very bad jabs as well.
So Kevin Owens said, I will drop the lawsuit if we go one-on-one in a ladder match.
Yeah, we're going to have a briefcase hanging above, and if Shane wins, Owens remains fired, and if Owens wins, Shane is gone for good. A storyline that would have made perfect sense if Shane had beat him at SummerSlam.
Yeah. It's a terribly told story, but the end is in sight, and that match is going to happen not at Hell in a Cell, but at the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown next Friday.
Indeed.
So I'm very, very hopeful that Kevin Owens wins. I mean, it's a ladder match. This is Kevin Owens' speciality. And I'm sure Shane's going to do some insane bump to ride him out.
He'll do the big bumps, yeah.
Yeah. So I really hope Shane loses. And it's not just R.I.P. SmackDown Live. Next week will be the final pin in this Shane McMahon run that has really overall been terrible.
Although, really, it's quite fitting that we're ending with Owens and Shane sort of on this show because, they have been feuding for 2 of the 3 years that SmackDown's been on air, so it's really been the longest running feud of the SmackDown Live era. So perhaps it was fitting that we also ended with that.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah. There's parallels there.
Yeah.
It's not very satisfying. When Owens was saying it, I thought, oh, okay, it's going to be a Hell in a Cell match to mirror the Hell in a Cell match they had previously when the heel babyface dynamics were reversed.
And a Hell in a Cell was how this whole thing started when Shane took on Taker inside Hell in a Cell.
Exactly. And Hell in a Cell is that weekend. But no, it's going to be on Friday Night SmackDown. And that joins a 4 horsewomen tag match and the Brock Lesnar Kofi Kingston WWE title match.
They are really pushing that season premiere hard to the point where there was only 1 match announced for Hell in a Cell on this show. And so that makes 3 matches announced for that show now. That show that's next Sunday.
Hell in a Cell really has been caught in this shuffle. It's like last year.
I was going to say, it's always in this time period where they just do 1,000 shows and then they're like, we can't push all of them.
Yeah, because like last year it was Australia, Saudi Arabia, Survivor Series, Hell in a Cell. But now it's season premiere, NXT, Hell in a Cell, draft, Survivor Series. So it is, and Saudi Arabia is in there as well somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think it's happening in November, right?
So the first 2 weeks of SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown, are sort of going to be prologue. You're not going to really start much. The next Friday's episode is going to be the wrap-up, I feel, for everything that's come so far. Hell in a Cell will pay off the rest of that. Then you've got the draft, and that's when you first start to see these rosters coalesce.
Oh, totally, yeah.
And then October 18th, I guess it will be, is when the proper SmackDown storylines get started. It's an exciting time. It's a time of change.
Yep, a big time of change. And what a fun ride it has been these last 3 years. Yeah.
It's been fun commenting on it, sure.
Yeah.
But it's inconsistent as a show.
But do you know what I like about SmackDown?
It's 2 hours.
Well, there's that. But I've also enjoyed that it's like based on I've been here for 3 years now, and it's always been the fan favourites. Like when you always look at the comments that we've got on our videos, it's everyone saying SmackDown's the best, Raw's terrible, SmackDown always brilliant. Even when SmackDown isn't a good show and Raw is in like so many ways better, the narrative is always SmackDown's the best show. SmackDown's the true A show. I hope that Fox doesn't kill SmackDown. It's like, SmackDown's been quite bland for a while. I just love the fact that it's got this wonderful fan swell behind it. It's almost as if fans have got behind SmackDown because WWE never did.
It could be. I've always thought it's because when that brand split happened, Raw was, just Roman Reigns' show. It was very boring anyway. And SmackDown was genuinely the land of opportunity. A lot of people reinvented themselves.
It's true, yeah.
And there was so much goodwill built up in those first 9 months of SmackDown after the brand split. And Raw was so bad that everyone just kind of made their beds there. And they haven't changed since. And I'm a SmackDown guy. I love it.
Yeah.
But they're really thinking about stuff from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
When sometimes Raw is far superior. I think overall, the highs of Raw have been much better than SmackDown.
We've always said that Raw, even when Raw's not a great show, it's always a newsworthy show. Whereas SmackDown often has the burden of being unnewsworthy and bland.
Yeah. I can't think of many SmackDown episodes I would give 5 out of 5 to, but I think I've done it like 3 times for Raw.
Yeah.
But let's get over to your super chats to see what Randy Andy Datson has to say.
Well, the report is that, unsurprisingly, Shane is going to lose next week, and that he will be written off TV for some time.
Oh, thank God.
And if you can smell what The Rock is cooking, because there is a rumour that we have finally convinced him to come back for next Friday night. So we shall see about that, but let's get on with some super chats. We start with Peter Mullins, who says, I studied law. I reckon I'm WWE's target audience with the KO Shane storyline. And let me tell you, the fun part's bad, but the law part's also bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are the target audience and even you think it's bad.
Kevin says, this episode started hot, but got bad at the end. Just like Randy Datson rolling R's. Just kidding, this was never hot to begin with.
No, I really liked all the Bryan Reigns
Really
Bludgeon
enjoyed
Brothers
that,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm really into that feud.
Yeah, same here.
And just like that, they're so physical with each other.
Yeah.
But then, they got slowly flattened out. There was a large portion of the show that meant nothing.
Oh, yeah.
We'll come on to it.
It was funny, when I was writing up my review today, I was like, right, because you have that bit at the start where you say the 3 big things that happen on the show, and I was like, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan form like Voltron. So I had that instantly written down, and then I went to and then I thought, well, what else happened? Just scrolling through my notes, being like, what else can I say?
Cody Storing says, Drew McIntyre will cost Shane, giving KO the win.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Shane Drew partnership. The Shane Elias partnership. What happened to that in this storyline? Shane Elias is a huge part of this. He's the reason Kevin Owens got fined.
It's bad storytelling once again. I forgot Drew was about. I guess they're just protecting him for that draft reintroduction
Yeah,
push.
because he got injured,
He
didn't
was
he?
mildly injured, yeah.
Yeah.
Will Haight says, Luke.
Yes, mate.
Not you, Ollie. Luke, are Shane and KO actually going to go before a federal judge and tell him that some mouldy Babylonian god is going to drop in on a Central Park West and start tearing up the city?
Oh, if there's a steady paycheck now, I'll believe anything you say. It's a Ghostbusters thing, yeah.
Yeah, I just, yeah.
Guys, I got to get my own lawyer.
Austin Tussey says, Rowan with a kill switch shirt. CM Punk return confirmed.
Yeah, I think so. I'm very excited.
Pretty much
about
confirmed.
That.
Or Christian.
Up on it.
Yeah.
Jobber JJ496 Ollie Davis #1 fan says, watched a boring SmackDown live, then watched Bryan and Vinny retro show, and then I watched that Nitro. Happy Vince Russo winning the WCW anniversary day.
Oh, it's the anniversary of Vince Russo giving himself the World Heavyweight title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and people still defend that, man.
Will Hate Again says, Luke.
Yes, mate.
No, it's a message from earlier that I already read out. Jobber JJ says, SmackDown favourite memories, because I asked some people to send in their favourite SmackDown live memories. Jinder winning the WWE Championship, SmackDown's top 10 list, James Ellsworth.
Oh, mate!
And the SmackDown that victory, which didn't count at Survivor Series.
Yes,
the one New Day won.
Wow, the top 10 list.
I was so positive about that. You can go back into the archives because you were so down on that idea. I was like, this is brilliant. This is such a great idea to kind of build feuds and storylines off of. What a fool I was.
And Jinder Mahal, I forgot about it.
I only remembered it today because I was grabbing images for the show, and when Becky's got her interview right at the end, there's a production truck in the background that's got Charlotte and Jinder on it, and I was like, that's an old production truck there if Jinder's one of the main stars you're pushing.
Daniel Lay says, my most memorable moment of SmackDown Live has to be Nakamura's debut and the very beginning of his feud against AJ. So hyped for their Wrestle Kingdom rematch. Yes.
Yeah.
I that was cool, but it was not as good as Nakamura in NXT. I remember when the entrance started, and it's an amazing entrance, but it was just a little, the font was different on his Titantron.
Yeah.
And I know things need freshening up every now and again, but I didn't see that as, oh, cool, a new change. I saw it as they're changing him already.
Yeah.
So I never fully got into it, but I was a much bigger fan of his heel turn and the heel music when he debuted that. And the I don't speak English stuff. That was brilliant.
And lastly, for now, Ben Greenwood says, Usos versus New Day matches / story was my favourite SmackDown Live.
Rap battles.
Yeah.
Love the rap battles.
But also that whole
Hell in a Cell
Usos New
match.
Day series of matches were incredible.
Absolutely it was, yeah.
Right, well, the full play-by-play review of SmackDown, there was no crazy opening sting like Bray Wyatt had for the Firefly Funhouse.
He's only taken over Raw.
I know, but I prefer that version now.
Well, but essentially what your note reads there is, there was no distorted thing, I want the Fiend on every show.
Yeah, more Fiend. And then they did a recap promo of Rowan and doing his sit-down interview last week, and Harper and him beating up Bryan and Roman, which closed last week's show. And then Rowan opened the full episode with an in-ring promo.
Yeah. I said, but just said, you all saw what I said in the video.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to recap it.
Yeah, but he still managed to.
Oh yeah, he still managed to, yeah.
He got good heat from the crowd, though. There was a "You suck" chant going.
Yeah.
I just, the commentators, I think it was both Corey and Phillips, were just gushing about either how big he is or how intelligent he is.
Oh yeah, that's the two big things about it. He is an intellectual man.
Forced.
This was not the advertised thing that they said it was going to be on the show either. They advertised quite heavily before the show started. It was going to be a Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan face-to-face confrontation in the ring. Even Eric Bischoff was said, like, this is unmissable television. And apparently that just changed, and we got this instead.
Unmissable.
Literally, you can't miss it.
Rowan then spoke directly into the camera, saying how he's right and everyone else is afraid. And then Bryan's music hit, and he was full on babyface.
And a huge babyface reaction for him as well. The swell of the music and the big babyface reaction took me back to that WrestleMania 30 run, and it took me back to when he first came back as an in-ring wrestler. And I was just filled with amazing... I loved his heel run. Absolutely loved it. I thought his heel run was some of the best work that WWE have done for the last year. But man, it's so good to see him back as a babyface.
That's it, isn't it? It's exactly what I had down in my notes. I loved his heel stuff. But I forgot how good he is as a babyface. And I was always like, he's one of the best babyfaces of the last decade. And then seeing him be it here, I realized how much I missed him. Some people are a lot better off as heels. Charlotte Flair. Daniel Bryan, he's a babyface.
Yeah, he is.
But he's also a great heel. He comes down as well in his ring gear. And I feel like I haven't seen that for months. He looked in great shape. When was the last time he wrestled a match?
Buddy Murphy? Well, he lost
I
to
guess
Buddy,
it would be, yeah. So
Where's
it
he
felt
been?
quite special and fresh, not seeing him in the usual comfy
And his comfy
clothes.
cardies. Yeah.
And he said, I want to fight you right now, Rowan.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a badass.
So it led into a match. Referee appeared from nowhere. He got unsnapped. And yeah, they had this great little match. And this was a really, really fun little match. Huge Daniel Bryan chants throughout this as well.
Yeah,
I
really
could-
physical.
The crowd have just completely bought back into him as a babyface. It's great to see.
And it's nice because they haven't betrayed everything else. Like he's not said, you people, I'm doing it for you people now. He still believes in everything before, I feel.
Yeah.
But this is against Rowan's actions.
Yeah.
So that's how, it's not inconsistent.
No, it's what he said last week, is that you were my best friend and you turned your back on me.
Love Rowan's crossbody on the outside.
Oh,
He
yeah.
gets such force with it.
I like the power bomb into the post.
Yeah.
It's nice stuff. I think Rowan's got some really nice spots that he does throughout his matches. I really, really like this. And this was a really, really fun match. It's slightly just let down by a botched finish, essentially, where Harper appeared from nowhere and Daniel Bryan did a big dive onto him. Then as he was getting back up onto the apron, Rowan grabbed him to do the Iron Claw slam and lifted him up. But in the process of chokeslamming him over the ropes, got his foot caught in the ropes. So Bryan got stuck there. So then Rowan was trying to get him out, realized he couldn't, so tried to pin him. And the ref was like, well, I can't count the pin.
Yeah.
His foot's in the ropes. So Rowan's like, ugh. So all three of them then had to try and get him free so he could lift him up and Iron Claw him again for the win.
Yeah, that's how Mick Foley lost an ear. I really
Do you
like.
think Daniel Bryan was going to lose an ear in this scenario?
No, his leg, if he was caught in the ropes. I really liked the Luke Harper spot beforehand, where Bryan sees Harper out there, does this huge dive, that torpedo dive that he
Yeah.
does, and that sends Harper over the announcer's desk. But Harper then just stands up and stands on the desk,
Yeah.
just looking menacing. Like, come on, give me another one.
He's great.
Yeah, really good.
Harper rules.
But Bryan did... Yeah, he did lose.
Yeah.
It was
yeah,
the
yeah.
Iron Claw for the
That's
loss.
right, yeah. So then the Bludgeon Brothers start to dismantle the table, and Roman Reigns came down to make the save. Eventually, Bryan hits the running knee on Harper, and we've got a spear to Rowan. And yeah, Roman tries to help Bryan up, like with a shake of a hand, and Bryan's like, no. And there's like, the crowd go, oh, boo. But that's because he wanted to grab the mic, and he said, I just want to hear a one-word answer. Do you want to see me and Roman kick their asses at Hell in a Cell? And the crowd burst into yes chants. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so he's a full-on baby
Yeah,
face,
absolutely.
that means. And it was a really good opening segment. I wouldn't have changed a thing.
Nope.
I thought Rowan looked great, Harper looked great.
Yep.
I'm into Bryan and Roman as a
yeah.
team. And I genuinely don't know which side would win. Roman and Bryan are not good friends. The Bludgeon Brothers work together very well. Like, you can protect Bryan and Roman in their loss there, or you could have them overcome them. I don't think that's the right decision, though. And do you think it's going to be in Hell in a Cell?
I mean, we've only had one Hell in a Cell... Oh, no, two Hell in a Cell matches already
The
advertised. so
Banks
it's-
and Becky.
yeah, of the 3 matches we've had announced thus far.
Make it like TNA Lockdown. Everything
Match
in Hell in a Cell. That won't get old. So yeah, that's going to happen on October, not on the season premiere Friday Night SmackDown.
A couple of nights later.
The San Francisco 49ers are there, Luke.
Sports.
Then we got another sit-down interview with Michael Cole backstage. It was exactly the same setup as Becky Lynch. And it was Kofi Kingston just talking about the Lesnar match, saying that I've been on top of my game since WrestleMania. I've beat Dolph Ziggler. I've beat Kevin Owens. I beat Samoa Joe. I beat Randy Orton. And I thought, my God, you've not had any good challenges, have you?
My favourite part of this is when he tried to get Michael Cole to be charismatic, and I'm like, I mean, you're fighting a losing battle there. That's pissing into the wind.
But he says I'll still be the WWE champion after the match next Friday. Kofi is great. I love Kofi, but the real appeal in him is alongside the New Day, and it feels like everything WWE have done since the title win is to take him further and further away from Big E and Xavier.
Yeah.
When they're such a huge part of his act.
No, I completely agree. Like, them as the cheerleaders for him in particular. Like, yeah, no, I agree with you on that front.
I didn't buy into this. Like, I thought Kofi looked a bit, silly. I mean, you can't have him go out saying, I'm probably going to lose. But at the same time, I don't think anyone's buying into him saying, I can win.
And also, as well, this is your final build for that match. Really, unless they do something on Raw. This is your go-home angle for it.
I mean, they probably will, because Brock
Brock
has been
Lesnar was on
advertised.
Raw, yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, again, this everything apart from that opening segment with Bryan and Rowan was filler.
Yeah.
Because they are saving everything for Raw and SmackDown next week. Speaking of, we got Chad Gable coming down to the ring. Not a Baron Corbin in sight.
No, it's only in video package. But it's okay, because Chad's starting a new feud now.
That's a shame. Because
Well,
I thought we were building up.
It's picking up that old feud, mate.
Wasn't into that old feud. I like the new Corbin feud.
Well, in all fairness, all of the feuds have been the same thing, which is that you are short. And it's more people. The only person who's got away with it thus far is Baron Corbin, because he's actually taller than Gable. Whereas everyone else who's done it is essentially the same height.
Yeah.
So it just comes across as very silly. Because Mike Kanellis did the same thing. He came out to make some short jokes. And then he stood in the ring next to him and I'm like, I mean, you're eye to eye.
He said he needs to show his wife that size does matter. I don't know what's going on at all.
Chad won.
Yeah, sort of squashed him really quick with a German suplex, ankle lock, Mike tapped immediately. Makes Chad look good, I guess. He got a win.
He needed a big win, I felt like.
Big win? Dominating win?
Now I'm doing it.
Yeah. I just don't think beating Mike Kanellis gives you any momentum at all.
No, but
Might as well pin the referee.
But it's our win, and it was dominating.
Yeah, but then Elias appeared on screen and said, I've written a song for you. And then wrote a song about short people having no reason to live.
Oh, man, I'm not into it at all.
Hey. And it's a shame, because they've got something with Chad.
Well, that's it. They've got something with Chad, but they've only got one idea for a heel to go against him with, and there's so much more that a heel could do. But they've just given the same dialogue, and that's the other side of this. It doesn't separate out any of your heels. If all the heels are saying the exact same thing, then they're all the same character.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And it didn't really get any heat from the crowd either.
No.
That's
because they've heard it all before. They literally heard Mike Kanellis do it.
And then Carmella and Charlotte were backstage. Charlotte goes up to Carmella's dressing room door. R-Truth standing guard, and he claims to not know where Carmella is. But she's in there. And Carmella came out with the 24/7 title. Charlotte doesn't really care about it. Why would she?
Out of place in this feud.
No, it's such a odd decision to put it on her now.
Yeah, when she's involved in another storyline.
It's clunky. Yeah, you've had 4 months to do this, and just when she's starting to be used elsewhere, she looks silly.
Yeah, now are the times to put the title on her. Also, this started something that carried over into the next match, and I'm hoping you might be able to help me out with this, or maybe someone in the comments might be able to help me out with this. But they kept pushing on commentary that Carmella and Bayley used to be best friends.
Yeah.
Did they?
They did this last week.
When was this?
That's why Carmella came out on last week's match.
Right.
To essentially say, "Whoa, what's up, Bayley? Why are you being so weird?" When everyone else is like, "When were you mates?"
When have you had any interaction at all?
Yeah, and she said it here as well. I just don't. This isn't the Bayley I know. It's like, probably because you've never spoken to her.
It's the first time you've ever been eye to eye.
Yeah, I mean, Carmella's performance is actually pretty good, but there's you can't just say, "Oh, this is a thing," and me to just take it. You need to show this stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
And WWE are bad at both. Anyway, this match was never really fully connected with the audience or me personally, and I think it's because Charlotte doesn't work right now as this character that they're trying to put them in.
And made worse by the finish. So the finish of this match is a finish that makes the most sense. Sasha and Bayley won. They tapped out Carmella. She's not involved in this horsewoman stuff. She is the person you can easily beat in this match. That's all fine. And I would be like, that's a finish that makes sense. And then you can do the 2-on-1 stuff afterwards and the Becky beatdown. The problem with it comes, though, is that Charlotte was just stood there on the apron watching as Carmella struggled in the hold and tapped out. And then she went, "Oh, well, you're crap."
Yeah.
Like, well, go in there and help her then. You're a tag team, you div. I just thought she acted like a complete dick.
Yeah, I guess you can argue that's consistent with her character because she isn't a baby face. I know, like, but she is still maybe not a heel. She's a heel who's taking on other heels.
But she likes to win.
Yeah. That you're right. That bit doesn't make sense. And when she got the hot tag, the crowd were kind of muted because they went woo out of a knee-jerk reaction to seeing a Flair get in the ring. But no one was that excited because it's just muddying the character appeals and what their morality actually is.
Yeah.
I don't think it worked. I'm not a fan of them trying to make Charlotte even a tweener role. I don't think it's connecting at all. And yeah.
It's like it was last year when they were trying to push Charlotte as the mega babyface against the super heel Becky, and it got over like a fart in a church.
It's definitely always been the plan. They probably thought, all right. We'll park it for a year, but that's the end. Not Becky, not Bayley, not Sasha. The end game is Charlotte as a mega babyface.
Yeah.
It's just not the best use of her. But I do think they're trying to build up Carmella for this season premiere. A lot of people are going to get character revamps and new pushes are going to happen. I think Carmella's going to be one of those. She's blonde.
Well, I mean, I hope so, because I really want them to get the 24/7 title away from her if it's going to lead to, because this made me so sad. After the match finishes, Truth picks up Carmella to like run away because all of the people who, for whatever reason, want to win this ugly green belt, despite the fact everyone who has won is like, this is the worst thing ever. And so all of these women run to the back, and it's Ember Moon, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Asuka, Kairi Sane. And I'm like, come on. It made me so sad to see them involved in this.
Yeah.
Because it's a role that's reserved for your Heath Slaters and your Zack Ryders and your Mojo Rawleys. And it's just put all of those exceptionally good wrestlers and so talented wrestlers into a box. And that box is labeled jobbers. And it made me so sad.
Yeah.
Okay, not a spoiler. It's a bit of a spoiler for my review. I have a bit of a rant about it. Not a rant, but it's a really sad diatribe about how the focus, like Ronda Rousey last year, the focus on the horsewomen has, and I love the horsewomen, but putting all of the focus on them has just meant that everyone else is resigned to the sidelines.
And I would kind of be okay with that if they were booking the 4 horsewomen feud out of this world. But it's actually quite tepid overall. Then we get Shane backstage talking with some lawyers.
So we did miss that. Becky then came down to save Charlotte from the 2-on-1 beatdown, and they're going to have a tag match next week.
Shane's talking with some lawyers backstage. We get the same NXT online article promotion.
And then they sat there like, oh, did you see that match? Did you see, whatever they did, the big brawl and everything? I'm like, show us!
Yeah.
You've got the video! Show us it!
I know, it's not working. Then we got Ali versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I was wrong. They did have a rematch, but I think that's where this ends.
Really?
Because,
No, it's because they cheated to win. And so...
I'm not getting invested in any storyline. Just things happen. Rusev's return.
You are right. We're heading for the season premiere. This feud's been dropped once already. It could easily be dropped again.
This is just filler. They're like, oh, who have we got who can feud with Nakamura for 2 weeks that really don't matter? Yeah, we did a thing with Ali. Let's use him then.
Yeah.
So this was Ali versus Nakamura after last week's ambush on Ali by Zayn and Shinsuke. Ali started off really hot with this crazy dive.
Oh, yeah.
He was sort of, the trajectory was to the center of the planet.
Vaughn dialed himself.
And then we got a shrink screen ad break. Comes back, Nakamura's on top. He does that lovely sliding German suplex that he took from Ishimori. And there was a really nice reversal on the Kinshasa. Ali, great timing for a super kick. But ultimately, Zayn pulls Nakamura out the way of an 054. Ali dives over the top of the referee and the top rope to take out Nakamura, chases Zayn round, runs straight into a Kinshasa, and that's the win.
He looked like a bit of a doofus by chasing Sami Zayn and then running straight into the Kinshasa. And Corey quite rightly said, Ali allowed Sammy to be a distraction. It's his own fault he lost. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, Corey.
Yeah. So, I'm not into Nakamura and Zayn together. I've said that a lot. And I think this is just filler. I don't think we're going to get a Nakamura-Ali feud spinning out of this.
I'm pretty sure we are.
All right, yep, okay.
I mean, I'm very much willing to...
What do you want to bet?
Oh, what do we want to bet on this? Okay, but what are the parameters that So they have a match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Within the next month.
Within the next month. Oh, I mean, Randy's got a suggestion.
2 Wrestle League points.
That's good. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
2 Wrestle League points. So
All right.
Ali and Shinsuke Nakamura have a match for the Intercontinental Championship within the next month.
Yeah, within the next 30-day period.
Yep.
And those 2 points, because Randy runs the Wrestle League, those aren't just 2 points to one or the other, because that's unfair to everyone else. I will take 2 of Luke's points.
Take 2 points away from me.
And add them to me.
And I will take
Agreed.
2 points away from Ollie when I do win.
Your milkshake. This is my milkshake. My straw's over here. I'm gonna drink it up.
Can I add a slight caveat to this? Just because the whole point of this is they are going to be in a feud. If the title match does not happen within the next 30 days, but they are still clearly feuding, do I technically win?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
Because the draft's happening, they're going to different brands.
I'm going to look like such an... What
points.
an idiot. I put so much faith in this company to continue a feud. They've already dropped once.
It doesn't even matter as well. It's not like you're like, oh, it's Rowan versus Bryan. They're not going to drop that. You're basing it on an Intercontinental title feud.
I know. And like, the kicker to this is they keep saying like, oh, Ali, can he finally get a win over Nakamura? He beat him 2 months ago.
All right, then we got a recap of the
dear me.
Kevin Owens wrongful termination storyline. We got Shane talking to more lawyers backstage.
My favourite bit about that video recap is they quite purposely cut out the SummerSlam match where Owens won. It's
not the story you told.
Completely removed it.
That's why WWE's video editing department is the best.
Oh, it's the best in the
video
world.
Editing department in the world. In the world. Reigns and Bryan versus the Bludgeon Brothers, although they're not called that anymore, was announced for Hell in a Cell, which I'm genuinely excited about.
Yeah.
And then we got New Day versus the B Team, which New Day won.
I was going to say, everyone this won't last long.
Yep, it was just a filler match. Yeah. Nothing happened. And then Mandy and Sonya Deville were backstage. Mandy's on the front cover of Maxim magazine.
She was signing copies and handing them out to people.
Yeah.
It was quite fun stuff. Then Sonya Deville has this really odd line where she said, we should be focused on our match. I'm like, well, why were you running after the 24/7 title then? If you want to be focused on the match you were having.
Yeah, well, that's gold. The best thing about this really, though, was Otis sliding into them DMs.
Yeah.
And he asked for a selfie from Mandy. What I loved here is Otis was still Otis in his delivery, but he was also, I'm going to be on my best behavior in character because I really fancy this person. And he put on like a sort of a nicer pronunciation.
And then as soon as she walked away, it was just like, oh, Ducky, Ducky, the pictures. But he started jacking off to all the magazines with Tucker standing behind him, also being like, go on, man, stakes and weights.
Very funny.
Yeah.
They're just insanely charismatic. And they are currently SmackDown Street Profits.
Yeah.
I almost wish they ran down the cards too, but with subtitles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Otis going
subtitles. That's the actual script they were given. They're just saying anything else.
Anyway, all this Maxim cover star nonsense. I mean, if you want a real cover star, you check out the WrestleTalk magazine, folks, and Chris Jericho being on the front cover.
Le Champion. Which
he retweeted. I said tweeted, but he Instagrammed it.
Yeah.
And then he put that on Twitter. Sure, someone will call me out on it in the video later. And it was the Kabuki Warriors versus Fire and Desire.
Can I give you a net positive from this?
Kairi Sane's really cute, and her pirate hat fell off in her entrance, and she went, oh, and she put it back on, and then she went...
I mean, in all fairness, Kairi Sane, when she was chasing after the 24/7 title, she did have her telescope. Like a little... Not a telescope, that's a massive one, isn't it? But he had like a little... Is it still a telescope?
It is a telescope, yeah.
She had that
collapsible one.
Yeah, she had that while she was running after them, which I thought was a very cute addition.
Very sweet. Here
Here is my net positive from this. The page management thing has been quietly dropped.
You want to put another bet on? She's busy. She's just not I think she's still attached.
There's been no mention of her for months now. Like, they had that one thing where they were like, she's injured and we wish her all the best. But she's never been mentioned since. So I wonder if it has been quietly dropped. Randy Datson's got something to add.
There's been some talk that she could be Renee Young's co-presenter on the FS1 show.
Which means it's quietly dropped.
I'm rescinding that bet proposal.
I'm not betting 4 points.
So,
although I could have evened myself out.
I've got another net positive for this.
Yeah.
Even though this match meant nothing and it was just filler.
I've written here, this match makes me sad.
But Mandy Rose got the Maxim magazine with the front cover, and she was holding it in front of Kairi Sane's face. Kairi went to kick it, missed it, and then did it again.
Yeah.
So she kicked a magazine.
Oh, yeah.
I love her.
She has now been on the main roster for half a year. Oh, and this is the total of that main roster call-up. She was taken out of that Io Shirai feud for this.
Yeah.
Worth it, I guess.
Tommaso Ciampa got injured, not completely because he was called up, but we can't overlook the fact it might have contributed to it.
Yep.
Yeah. What a good year for NXT call-ups it's been.
It really has, yeah. And also, it looks like Sonya was upset after the loss and was almost blaming Mandy Rose because she was the one that took the pin because she was so focused on the magazine. So we're picking up that storyline from last year when this team was splitting up, but then decided to keep them together because they were going to do the women's tag titles.
I can't see that playing into anything.
I mean,
it was too subtle.
Well, it's the same way their lesbian storyline has been dropped as well. That was quietly dropped.
So yeah, Asuka hot tagged. She's really good. Sane's elbow on Mandy for the win, and then we got the 4 Horsewomen match announcement for next week, and then the Shane McMahon stuff with Kevin Owens and the Becky Lynch thing. Pretty missable show.
Totally missable, yeah.
Yeah. Nice one, USA Network. Overall, I'd probably give it like a high 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I went for a low smack bang in the middle. I initially
Same.
wrote Smackdowner, and then I thought, is that too harsh? Like, it wasn't damaging in any way. It's like nothing was overtly bad. It was just there. Yeah. It did make me sad, though. Like, all the women's division stuff did make me very, very sad.
Yeah. Great opening segment. Everything else got progressively worthless.
Yeah.
And then at the end, actually quite rubbish. Let's see what the Super Chats thought, though, with Randy Datsun.
Super Swafters.
Tim Arndt says, since Sasha submitted Carmella, shouldn't she be the 24/7 champion? Also, it looked like Ali almost killed himself with that dive.
The commentators did say that the rules were suspended.
And they usually are in matches.
Yeah.
Tim Arndt again says, WWE logic. Chad Gable deserves to be mocked because he's short. Tune in next week to see Rey Mysterio go for the Universal title.
Yeah,
you're totally right there.
Jesse Venable says, Luke, during the fire alarm yesterday was gold. Should we leave? Made me laugh so hard. Glad Wonder Ollie was there to save the day. Hashtag superhero.
Yeah, there was a point when, because I said, should we just do some super chats? And then Randy couldn't find any super chats that weren't shout outs.
Yeah.
And then I was like, should we go? This has been going on for a while now.
Yeah, well, I had to save a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Also, a lot of people died. The choices you have to make in the heat of the moment.
But it's okay because there's a massive bowl of granola that's been put out today, sort of in remembrance of all those people.
Minato Dono says, hashtag bring back Ramble intros, hashtag Flying Uso.
Oh, yeah, the old segues and stuff, the little stings that we had.
Yeah, I mean, those were when this was an edited show rather than a live stream.
It's a SmackDown review, my God, I love it. We got us a Flying Uso.
KJ says, a 205 live wrestler making short jokes. Oh, the irony.
Yeah.
Mike Kanellis used to have actually quite a big frame. I know he had certain substance abuse issues back in those days, but in Ring of Honor, he was one of those guys that you'd look at and go, ooh, WWE would be interested in him. But he's completely changed his look. He's slimmed down, he's leaned up, and he doesn't actually look so much like an old school wrestler anymore, which was his one major appeal in Ring of Honor, in a company that was full of people who look like he does now.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting trajectory.
Kanellis says, oh man, I was getting this super exciting Star Wars prequel vibe with Shane and KO battling in court. And now they've ruined it with their let's have a match nonsense. Shake my head. I am the courtroom.
That's such a brilliant comparison. This is the Phantom Menace of feuds.
It's Randy's favourite Star Wars movie.
Is it? I'm not sure I've ever said that. Joseph Bujold says, what if Buddy Murphy beat Shinsuke for the Intercontinental title and faced AJ Styles at Survivor Series Match of the Year candidate? Hashtag love your time with the boys.
No, because I'd lose 2 Wrestle League points in that.
A lot of maybes in that.
Yeah.
I hope they've got something for Buddy. I'm pinning a lot of hope on the draft.
Yeah.
Talking of that more sports-based approach that Fox reportedly want, Buddy Murphy's style of wrestling feels a lot more realistic.
Aleister Black is in that mold as well, says Andrade. There's so many guys on SmackDown that have just been,
They could give him a Christmas-themed match and make him Buddy the Elf.
In October.
No, later on.
Just later
Yeah,
on.
just
Just
later on,
build
yeah.
towards it.
Yeah. Forged by Gaming says, stupid question. If music played every time you kicked open a door, what would play? For me, it's Hello Bodies by Bless the Thought. I don't know what that is.
Huh.
You want something that's really punchy.
Yeah, start with a bang.
Yeah.
So
I would do Bodies by Drowning Pool, but not like the intro bit. It's just when it goes, floor! That's when they kick it. So yeah,
you need a lead in.
boom, floor! But actually they replace it with door. So door!
I can't think of a funny one off the top of my head. I'm running through Taylor Swift songs, but I can't think any that would
Trouble
fit
when
it.
you walked in.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in. And then I open the door. Hey!
Zach Icon Linder with some useful advice. Add salt to water when boiling it to make pasta. Or I suppose when you're making pasta, add salt to water. I don't think you just shove salt in water and it goes,
then
pasta!
Hey! Water into wine.
Isn't that just like common knowledge? You're supposed to like season pasta.
So when I was at university, my best friend didn't season his food at all. He wouldn't put salt or pepper in any food. And so when he wasn't looking, I would run past his food and secretly throw salt and pepper into it. Because I was so annoyed. Because he used to cook for me quite a lot. And I was like, this needs to be seasoned, Tom.
He's not going to get fired in MasterChef.
No, exactly.
If you don't season well in MasterChef, you're going nowhere, mate.
Yeah. And also put olive oil in the pasta afterwards to make sure it doesn't stick.
I learned that at the weekend. I'm a terrible cook.
Yeah.
And you're talking about seasoning
bread
like,
yesterday.
everyone does it. I'm like,
You showed me your lovely loaf.
I would say baking's different to cooking. But baking's more scientific, which I like.
Are you using
cooking has a lot of improvisation.
Are you using your
which
palms
scares me.
rather than your fingers to knead? Because fingers.
I'm using my palms.
Good. Josuen says Asuka in the 24/7 breaks my heart, and Charlotte just watching her tag partner submit without doing anything.
So stupid. So ridiculous.
There is a character argument to it, but as you pointed out, there is also a character argument against it.
Yeah.
Matthew Shield says, if you had to give someone the last ride as a finisher, who would you give it to? I would say Braun Strowman.
How?
Well, like if physics weren't a thing and gravity wasn't a problem.
No, as in you would give it to him, like he would take the move himself.
Oh.
Not like you would give the move to him.
Yeah, no. Okay, so it's you're passing the move on to someone as opposed to you're giving that, because I heard that initially as who would I like to give that move to, and I was thinking like, well, the lightest person I could think of, I suppose.
That's people used to hate taking the last ride because you go up so high and it's just such a huge back bump. Awful move to take. You're higher than the top turnbuckle.
And you also at this time where Undertaker was refusing to take bumps as well. So you're like, why have I got to take this horrible bump and he's not doing anything?
But you're right, Braun Strowman that would be a cool finisher for him.
I like the running power slam though.
Yeah, but you could have two. Braun needs a few more moves, to be honest.
He's got the running into the post.
So you don't know.
Yeah, Braun's a good answer.
Cool. Easy EHBK says, Thank you guys for your consistently consistent content. The podcasts keep me going at work. Always down for a lovely time with the boys.
Lovely time with the boys.
Thank you very much. There's going to be so much more of it starting next week.
Mundy says, hello mates, this is my 27th birthday, so I'm spending it at work and having a lovely time with the boys, listening to you all. Keep up the good work.
Feliz Navidad.
Very nice. Thank you so much for watching.
Feliz Navidad.
And happy birthday.
Timothy Jones says, good morning fellas, what's with the big WrestleMania angle with Mysterio I've been hearing about? Also, where the heck is Samoa Joe?
I think they're holding off on Joe until after the draft.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, yeah.
School us on this Ray stuff,
Which
which you can go and check out at WrestleTalk.com.
You can. I
just assumed you wrote the article.
Louis wrote it. But I think the idea is...
I mean, I'm going to get in trouble for it.
I think the idea is probably...
Something Dominic-based?
So he'll probably face... I reckon it could be Dominic in a retirement match or something like that.
Retire Dominic.
Retire Dominic.
But it's about time, really. You've seen his hair.
Let's have a look. I don't think they're going to do anything... So this was Dave Meltzer speculating, basically. I don't think they're going to do anything with Dominic until WrestleMania season, probably. So, yeah, it'll be a slow build.
Oh, so it's just speculation on Meltzer's part, then?
Yeah, I know, but have you met Louis?
And that's why I get in trouble for all of his articles.
So, yes, that is that story.
Okay. It's a non-story,
and,
then.
so where the heck is Samoa Joe? Did you answer that?
Yeah, I think he's in a holding pattern, like a lot of guys are.
Ryan Kester says, when I was younger, my buddies and I kept a set of gimmicks going through the wrestling games. Mine happened to be the Jester. So thank you for accidentally appealing to my nostalgia for my shout-out.
Yeah, the Jester Ryan Kester. I just did it because it rhymed.
And
I'm quite bad at doing it, giving people names.
Mundy says, also, did you see the fancy booking match card I made for TLC Brock Lesnar versus Matt Riddle I made and tagged y'all on Twitter? I have not, but we can have a look.
Brock Lesnar versus Matt Riddle should happen eventually.
Yeah, it should do.
And that should be like someone Lesnar puts over, because he could be the next top star of WWE.
So my fantasy booking is Killian Dane wins tomorrow night in the NXT match, and then Matt Riddle debuts on the Fox show after Brock wins the title. He comes out as the first challenger.
Well, you should probably save it for the draft.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was a report that said there was going to be no NXT call-ups in the draft. But I'm thinking for the Premier show where you do it as like a really big, newsworthy deal.
Bro. Kingman says, who do you want on what show the most? One male, one female. Pledgehammer Anthony Brown. I want Strowman on SmackDown to finally win da big one on Brock.
Oh, God. I think I'm done with Brock.
10th time
matches.
lucky.
Yeah.
It's difficult because I don't really know what Raw and SmackDown are at the moment. Well, I guess I've got more of a clue of what Raw is because of Paul Heyman. So, maybe Seth to SmackDown because I feel like he needs something to freshen him up.
That's a good shout, yeah. And I'm going to go with Aleister Black to Raw.
Yeah.
When I think of like Paul Heyman, like making him the new Taz. So I'm going to say that. Women's side of things, Sarah Logan. So SmackDown Sarah Logan into an actual storyline would be nice.
Interesting you say Aleister Black, because that is part of our weekend video of people who should move in the draft, which Pete and I made. So go and check
good
that
video, mate.
out. Yes, well, it is. Josuen says, we said that one earlier. Nikki is prettier than Mandy says, with the busier schedule coming up, I hope we still get to see you together. Yous are awesome, by the way. Is Charlotte the best booked character?
No. But yes, you will see the same amount of us.
Yeah.
It's just we're going to be on Raw and on AEW, and then Chopper and Laurie are going to be doing NXT, and then Chopper and Dave are going to be on SmackDown on Saturdays.
And I'll be here when people are ill or on holiday. Spark says, didn't they say they want to keep couples on the same roster? If so, I can't see Becky going to SmackDown without Rollins, despite the rumours.
That's a good point.
Unless Seth goes as well.
Especially now that they're engaged. That is pretty bad for them to split them up.
But maybe they will be a couple that won't rock the boat, being unhappy about it because they're quite company people.
It might change as well now that SmackDown's on Friday, because it sort of will change the schedule and
totally
not mix them up too much.
Also, thank you for saying schedule.
You're welcome. Piotr says, can we please start referring to the mandible claw as the Fiend finishing in his opponent's mouth?
Well, I've been saying finger him.
Yeah.
But that's also good.
Amro says, take a cost Fiend to Hell in a Cell to set up a match at SummerSlam.
Survivor Series?
Yes,
do you
well,
mean?
yeah.
SS?
I see SS. It could be lots of things.
I see
Saucy
the
sausages.
Nazi secret police. Yeah.
Yeah. As I've said before, we said this in yesterday's show, every idea other than Fiend wins appears to be, it's just not working
But
for me.
Fiend should face Undertaker at Survivor Series and beat him.
Yeah.
And then he should face John Cena at WrestleMania and beat him too.
Easy EHBK again says, me and my buddies are huge wrestling fans, but we're also huge college football fans and are from Athens, Georgia. Can I get a Go Dogs?
I guess that's their
Must be their team.
nickname.
Is it
team.
dogs as in DAWGS?
S, yeah.
Oh. Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go
Go
Dogs.
Dogs.
I hope we
I
haven't
didn't know there was a place called Athens in Georgia.
I hope we haven't upset other people who are like, from
Other teams.
other teams.
Other
Florida
local sports
Gators.
teams.
All of them.
Snap, snap. Dorian
Yeah,
McCann
Washington, isn't it?
says, howdy, y'all. Loving the show all the way from Texas, USA.
Also near Washington. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much.
Sabrina says, please hire me, WrestleTalk. I applied to be a writer. I am currently on my way through the writing application. There are a lot of them.
Yes.
And we haven't got space for everyone, but I haven't actually seen your one yet, Sabrina, so you are still very much within with a chance.
Got to be in it to win it.
Rasta says...
There's the rolling R.
King Rastar says Drew was reported out with some kind of illness. Yes, that's what we said.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like he couldn't walk one day.
Oh, God.
Yeah, wasn't it just before
just
King
before
of
his
the
Ricochet match.
Yeah, it's King
He
of the
just-
Ring match.
He just ate
apparently.
a haggis and went, I'm going to
and apparently he's like he could barely walk after he barely walk out for his King of the Ring match.
Oh, wow. That was a
Um,
good match as well.
Kevin says Bryan turning heel and the KO beating Vince segment were amazing moments. I suppose this was
Yeah, the KO headbutt to
Ah,
Vince.
yeah,
busted them
wow.
open.
Yeah, I mean, it was a shocking moment. I think, it shouldn't have happened with all the potential dangers there. What was the other moment, sorry?
Daniel Bryan's return.
Daniel Bryan turning heel.
Bryan turning heel.
Oh, Bryan turning heel.
Yeah, but that was I didn't fully love it.
It was muddied by Survivor Series,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Jake C says best SmackDown moment was the Usos refusing to fight New Day so Kofi could go for the heavyweight championship against Daniel Bryan.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
In their series of gauntlet matches that SmackDown went through. Hey, that worked well once. Let's do it 4 more times.
They had so many gauntlet matches. I think you can call that a gauntlet era.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Peter Mullins says, rare sincerity. Thanks for being awesome, guys, and filling some hard days. I've been off work long term with disability-related complications. Finally better and looking for work again. I'm a new pledge hammer.
Oh, that's great
Wonderful
to hear.
news, Peter.
Good to hear,
Keep
my
up.
friend. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good luck with the job hunt.
Thank you.
Ronce Regen says, my terrible pitch for the day. Chad Gable turns heel and starts picking on Rey Mysterio for being short. I like that a lot.
Yes.
Who else can he go for? The women.
Zelina
Go to
Vega.
205 Live and be the tallest person there.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Fritz 21 TFK 777 says loved Bryan's natural journey to heel and back to face over the last year. Feels like he has been in one continuous story.
He's definitely been on one continuous character. However, there's been long stretches where all that stuff's been dropped, be it through plans being changed, special announcements just being completely scrapped,
Yeah.
or him potentially being injured, whatever that was after WrestleMania, where he was meant to go in a feud with Kofi still.
Yeah, yeah.
But then they had to hot shot into Kevin Owens because
Turn him heel again, yeah.
because Bryan seemed to, speculatively, seemed to had a knock on the head, and with his history of concussions, that's something very concerning. So I don't think, well, like everything in WWE, his heel run was used to even close to its full potential.
Helps that he's so wonderful at whatever he does. T Green, thank you for your donation. Kevin says Carmella and Bayley were friends in NXT like 15 years ago.
Oh, that show that's definitely part of main roster continuity.
Dina Sisse says Carmella and Bayley were best friends in NXT. They were known as Baymella. Of course they were.
On TV?
In NXT.
No, but on NXT TV is what I'm saying. Or is that just a backstage thing?
I don't know. I started watching in about 2016.
I remember when I was watching, I don't remember Carmella being involved because she was part of. She came in with
Cass.
Enzo and Cass. She was their hairdresser, and she was Cass's cousin or something, or it was one of their or a cousin of someone they knew.
Dating off screen.
Yeah, it was something weird like that. I don't remember Baymella being a thing on TV. Might have happened. I don't recall it at all though.
Alex Jordan says, "Save Ember Moon from the grave. They're digging her or burying her, possibly."
Yeah, it's such a shame because she's like her and Asuka could be that they've built the 4 horsewomen. They're like legit women's division draws now. But then that next tier that are coming up, which is Asuka and Ember Moon, they were the next NXT class. Really, they've done nothing with.
It's a real shame. Remember, Asuka tapped out Becky Lynch clean at the Royal Rumble this year. That was this year.
That was 9 months ago.
And Asuka's not that young anymore. She's like late 30s now. So she's
Oh my God, she's ancient.
She hasn't got but what I'm saying is she probably hasn't got that many years left in her,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Andrew Briggs says, "How could?"
I don't know. I disagree with that one. Ric Flair was wrestling till he was like 102.
Yeah, but it's a different style there. AJ Styles is 42 now, and he's saying he's got 2 years left.
Ric Flair matches towards the end were a few chops, one backdrop, and a figure 4 leg lock.
Tell that to that Mick Foley hardcore match he had in TNA, mate.
Don't think we should put Mick Foley as the prime example of wrestlers carrying on wrestling.
Andrew Briggs says, "How cool would it be to have Jericho to imitate Mandy Rose from last night, but with the WrestleTalk magazine on the first show of AEW?"
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do.
Dixon would probably explode.
Someone replied to Jericho's tweet of it with the gif of all of us just doing the CM Punk confirmed thing. It was very funny.
Jasmine Howard says, "Naomi wants her gimmick back, Ali."
Yeah. Fair enough. Where is Naomi? Is she injured?
Maybe she's being kept off because of the Usos thing? Because she's married to Jimmy?
Yeah.
Mike,
It's always good to punish people by association.
Residual heat.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to space out his name. Mike Hunt says, "Hey guys, do you think if the Broken Universe could have worked if started in WWE and was given the same treatment as The Fiend?"
No. I think the Broken Universe would have been more akin to what the 24/7 segments are, where it can cross over, but it is kind of a pocket universe at the same time.
Yeah, it's a bit too wacky.
Yeah.
It's too wacky to be main events.
But that's not to say it wouldn't have worked. As Matt Hardy somehow proved, it was, and I hated it when it first started, but
it was a legit draw for Impact.
Garrett Lippy says, "Randy is my favourite because he likes my name." Well, to be fair, Garrett Lippy is a wonderful name. King CJ says, "How will WWE build The Fiend after Hell in a Cell?"
I mean, the building's probably done then. You know, that's the hard part. He's the Universal Champion, hopefully. He's the top star on Raw, presumably. You just keep it going from there.
Exactly.
And I think Undertaker feud at Survivor Series, John Cena match at WrestleMania.
Like it.
Kane the Great Black says, "Just like yesterday, Chopper," and I don't know what that little sign means, "is something than Randy." I really can't tell.
Is it greater than?
Oh, it can't be that. That would be weird. Ben Greenwood.
Is it greater than and including? Because that's got the line underneath the arrow.
No, it's pointing towards me, so I imagine it's Chopper is going towards Andy.
I see.
Ben Greenwood says, "How would you book Aleister Black after the draft?"
He wins matches. He gets into a storyline.
Yeah, because I don't think squash matches is the way to go now.
It's really not. We're past that point.
Just comes out, someone's running their mouth. AJ's running his mouth. Black walks down. Just a black mass, 30-second win. AJ doesn't lose anything because he can sort of say, "I wasn't ready."
Yeah.
And Black looks amazing. And then you just have that feud go forward.
Or you do my John Cena idea that I had for my fantasy booking warfare.
King Rasta says, "KO versus Shane for the souls." You see,
I need your soul, Shane.
Rey Mysterio said that he carries Eddie Guerrero's soul with him wherever he goes yesterday, and I thought of you, Luke.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Need those souls.
Brian Moore says, I think I'll do a new thing weekly on a random ramble. I'll say a random wrestling fact. Did you know that Seth Rollins is a 4-time world champion but has never lost in a scheduled title defense?
Oh, so a match that he knows that's going to happen before time. So how's he lost?
He lost to Dean Ambrose with a
Money in the Bank.
He lost it because he was injured.
Yep. He lost the Universal title first time round to Brock Lesnar when he cashed in.
Yeah.
And what was the other title loss?
Well, that
Oh no, he said he's a 4-time champion, right? That'd be the 4
Oh
times.
yeah, so that implies he's very good at strategizing for opponents.
Yes.
And defenses because he's the architect.
Or it's a bit like that TNA thing where Christian was a 2-time heavyweight champion but had never been pinned and submitted.
Jobber JJ says, been the best 3 years of my life. So much has changed. I still have my goal of working with you one day. Thank you so much. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face.
Oh, thank you,
you.
Jobber JJ.
Good dude.
Michael Dominguez says, when I visit the UK, I can stop by and make y'all Mexican. I don't think he means he's going to make us all Mexican. I think he means food.
Oh,
Good.
mate,
That's
I'd like
one
that.
of my top ever cuisines.
I think it's my number. Oh, curry.
Turkish food, pizza,
Yeah,
Mexican.
pizza's
Probably
good,
number
yeah.
3.
Yeah, I think
Pizza's its own cuisine.
I think it's
for
my
me.
top 2. Yeah, curry, pizza. No, curry, Mexican, then pizza.
Swedish.
It's just salmon on open sandwiches.
Meatballs.
On open sandwiches.
Abram Pena says, Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
Keith Lee versus anyone.
pretty much.
Ben Greenwood says, worried about how much fingering and fisting Ollie's doing.
I'm just saying what's going on with the wrestling scene right
Yeah,
now.
totally. Yeah.
Ryan Kester says, if Aleister Black moves to Raw, that would also bring Zelina Vega, Andrade, and Charlotte Flair to keep couples and acts together. Are you still in favour?
They are faction now. They're a backstage faction, double dating all the time.
And yeah.
There's no reason why not.
Exactly. There's no reason why like Charlotte being on Raw isn't going to like make Raw worse.
They're not going
guess.
to take Charlotte off SmackDown.
No,
They're not with the
exactly.
move. The Zornis says, nice coloured shirt, Andy, very becoming. Love Wrestle Talk. It was actually my last T-shirt in my drawer this morning, so I just put it on.
What
It's
is
The
it?
Grizzled Young Veterans.
Grizzled
Oh,
Young
yeah,
Veterans
yeah.
from Wrestle Crate a few months ago. Dorian McCann says, I've heard a lot of comparisons between The Miz and MJF. Thoughts?
Yeah, both very good promos. Both do kind of look a bit alike.
Similar
with
body shapes.
The
And
quiff
it's
and
the
stuff.
I'm better than you gimmick, basically, which is Miz is when he was the A-lister, and MJF is because, he's the sort of rich preppy kid.
Also, I haven't really seen MJF wrestle a bunch, but compared to the other wrestlers they have on the roster, like in ring, he's average. Compared to the amazing likes of other people in their mid card. And that's always been Miz's thing. Like he's always been a promo guy, way beyond his wrestling ability. But that maybe MJF has to grow into that, or he is a very good wrestler, but doesn't show it because he's a heel.
And he's also one of my favourite interviews I've ever done. And I've interviewed, a fair number of people throughout my over the last 10 years or so. MJF is like one of the best people I've ever interviewed. It was so much fun.
This one's probably for you, Luke. Love you guys. Any fantasy football tips for this week?
Oh, because I'm currently, I'm third in our overall
I've literally
league.
given up. I've been doing so badly because I've been trying to be clever and sucking.
I was going to
so
say, Randy's
hard.
like right at the bottom of the league, despite the fact he is captain football.
But I have got the best team name.
What's yours, Ken?
Rude Van Nipplejoy, after the Rude Van Nistelrooy. Which
I've just gone with the same fantasy football name I've been using since the early 90s.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. nil.
Obi-Wan Kenobi nil.
Mine was always Dagobah FC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So here are the
tips?
fantasy football tips. And this is how I am currently third in the WrestleTalk League, and I'm third in my family's league as well. In fact, actually, the top 3 are the people that know. Actually, no, it's me and my mum who know the least, and then my cousin's daughter who knows quite a lot. It's basically just sort by most picked. And that's it, because I don't know. I couldn't name you who's on my team at all.
Moneyball it.
But as soon as someone gets injured, I just take that person, go to it, most selected, who can I afford? But that person there, as long as they're highly picked, then
At least you're actually checking it though, because I just don't check it, and then I look
Randy
and go,
with the excuses.
Oh. No, I'm not. I'm terrible.
I should be doing better because my brother told me in like week 3 or 4 that I didn't realize that the app automatically picks your captain and vice captain. So it just picked people who weren't scoring any points for me. It was like you put on the people that are scoring loads of points. It's like
double points.
Yeah. So I actually should be doing way better.
My tip is Tammy Abraham from Chelsea. He's doing very well at the moment, and they're playing Brighton, so it should be an easy win.
But you're also like bottom of the league, so
Yeah, but he's not in my team either.
I thought you weren't checking it, Randy.
No, I know.
I thought you'd given up, mate.
I know who's in my team. I know who footballers are.
It's very inconsistent.
Wesley
Randy.
Kirby says, "Do you think they will have Ray beat Seth to get the title off him, and the Fiend can beat Rollins clean?"
No.
No, because if it's I would think it would be a stupid thing to do to take the title off of Rollins at this point.
I think Ray's in there because it's another legend for the Fiend to attack in the match, and it makes him look even stronger going into Hell in a Cell. And I've just thought of it. There's a lot of fun mask-based stuff you can do in the Firefly Funhouse segment that night, I imagine. Don't trust people who are behind masks, Seth.
Yeah.
You don't know what their true intentions are.
Like it.
And lastly, Monday with some very wholesome guilt tripping. I just retweeted the match card I made and tagged the 3 of you. I would love to hear your live thoughts about it for my birthday if you can take a look.
Oh, he's chucked in the birthdayness. Go on.
No.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's just it's a picture of. Oh, is there a thread? I see. There's a. No, it's just one picture. It's just Brock versus Riddle.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
We already said that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you
Those
go.
were our live reactions.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much, everyone, for joining us. Before we get out of here, let's say thank you and give some cheap pops to the $25 a month or more pledge hammers on Patreon.
Who now have access to our 2.5 hour-ish review of WWE Unforgiven 2006, which features such belting matches as DX versus Vince and Shane McMahon and The Big Show in a 3-on-2 handicap Hell in a Cell match, Edge versus John Cena in a TLC match for the WWE
Very good
Championship,
match.
Trish and Lita in Trish's retirement match for the Women's Championship,
First
and
retirement match.
lest we forget, the Spirit Squad versus the Highlanders.
Wow.
Brilliant.
And
Brilliant stuff.
also get to hear Ollie's first time ever seeing Armando Alejandro Estrada, a character he didn't even know existed. You get to hear his full reactions and thoughts on that gimmick.
But yes, let's say thanks to the $25 a month or more. But by the way, everyone $5 and above gets that. And of course, if you're $5 or more, you get the Wrestle League participation as well. So that's WrestleRamble Extra, the podcast, and that. But $25 a month gets you a shout out on this very show. So thank you, Greg, Taylor, Soldier, Spy.
Yes, very nice. The Aussie Experience, Dave Humphreys.
Oi.
Aussie.
The Dijon Mustard.
Hey,
Dijon Mustard.
Probably better than Kyle, Philip O'Reilly.
Big claim.
Doing the guitar.
Big claim. Girls on Film, Erica Duran.
Yeah.
Damian Wayne Wilson Fisk.
Oh, there's so many comic book names in there. Raz the Man. Reality.
Yeah.
I always want to say
Realty.
realty, but it's not. Raz the Man. Reality. Because he told us not to say that.
It's pronounced like methamphetamines, sethamphetamines.
That's a helpful name.
Yeah.
Jonathan, King of the Ring.
Hey, you are cordially invited, Kyle Cordill. Is that your
Downtown Abbey.
Oh, right.
No, yeah, I did come up with that one. The Wonderwall, Brian Gallagher. Gallagher.
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Liam Millsummer Murders.
I was really proud of that one. I was proud of that one. Can I get you to do the next one, please, Randy? Because I want to do the last one.
The last one, yeah. New Kid on the Block, Ben Newcomb.
Hey.
Nice. And lastly, the most average in the world, Barely Average Gaming.
Yeah, thank you everyone all so much. Please press the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest awesome Wrestle Talk things, and this button right here, which will make you a pledge hammer on Patreon, where you could get your own cheap pop on this very show. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luke Owen. Over there was WrestleTalk.com's Randy Andy Datson, and that was Rambling.